Hello and welcome to this Fireside Chat with Sarkis from ITQ Digital and Johnnie Norton from Mollie Payments. Very excited to have you guys here today. How are you both?
Not too bad for a Tuesday. Thanks, Matt.
Very good. Try not to melt in this unseasonal heat in the UK.
Very good. So this recorded session today is intended to explore a little bit of what ITQ has learned about the e-commerce market over the last 20 years. So ITQ's delivered more than 100 projects, or rather more than 100 projects for more than 100 small business customers. And in addition, has done many clinics to help small business owners understand what they need to do in their e-commerce world to improve what they're doing and to take steps forward, become more profitable, become more successful. So what we really want to focus on today is, first of all, Sarkis, what you've learned in delivering those projects and expanding customers' businesses for them, and what are the trends you've seen and what are the changes you've seen over that time. And then, Johnnie, what we'd love to get from you is how does that impact the world of payments and how has Mollie responded to some of those challenges from your experience and what you've seen across the very significant footprint of the Mollie ecosystem. So with that, I'm going to hand over and just let you guys do a quick introduction to yourselves. So Sarkis, if you could lead in.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks, Matt. So I'm Sarkis Salleh, and I'm the one of the founders at ITQ Digital. Head up the operational side of things, so look after all the development and the delivery team. And yeah, that's basically my role at ITQ Digital.
Very good, thank you. And Johnnie?
Yeah, I'm Johnnie Norton. I'm head of UK sales for Mollie. Been with Mollie for coming up to a year now. Previously was with Klarna and headed up their SMB team for the UK and Ireland. And and prior to that was with Drapers, so sort of fashion e-commerce partnership lead over there. So hopefully you can look at it from a payments perspective, but also quite a holistic view today as well.
Very cool, excellent stuff. Thank you, gents. Well, let's jump straight into it and just talk a little bit about some of the insights that you have from your extensive careers in this world. What we wanted to find out first of all is, back in the day, maybe 2000, 2001, it was entirely feasible to spin up an e-commerce business and just start selling stuff, not even necessarily in a niche, but you could just get online and start selling things if you knew what you were doing. Apparently that's not so anymore based on what ITQ has seen and learned. So why can't you just spin up an e-commerce business these days?
I think the answer to that is change, basically. A lot has changed in the last 20 years, both from a technology point of view, i.e. the platforms that you can sell stuff on, and consumers. Consumers have got a lot smarter, a lot more demanding, and that's sort of happened in line with technological changes, if you want to call it that. And like you said, back then hardly anything was sold online, so everything was cool, everything was new, everything was exciting. You could sell a pencil online and people would get super excited about it and not be bothered about the color of it. But now you can buy a pencil, choose the color, choose engraving, you name it. It's limitless because of advances in technology and what people expect to be able to buy online. So I think that's the main thing. It's changed. Technology has changed. Consumers have changed. Obviously, the choice of products has massively changed as well. But I think it's more the way you buy those products that has changed, and not necessarily what you can buy online as well. That's changed over that time. So that would be it for me. Really change.
And what, Johnnie, would you say about the payment side of that? So what do you do to facilitate customers that are getting online now and help them to get underway in a very, very crowded market?
Yeah, definitely. And I think crowded market is very apt. We just look to advise, and for us at Mollie, it's all about being trusted. We're in a very, very volatile position where we're not allowed any mistakes. So, we have to get it right. We have to ensure that trust is there, both with the merchant, but also with the consumer. And that's what it comes back to. If you, as a business, make the wrong decision, choose the wrong payment partner, and you get it wrong, you've only really got one shot of doing that. And that's why I think it's really important to, not just spin up and, take a really measured approach in terms of, doing what you love, setting up a business that you love, and that being a real passion, but then being really well advised from agencies, from Sarkis and the team, but then also from the providers that you work with. As I say, technology moves very, very quickly, and what was once the sort of the known player in a given market quickly becomes a legacy brand. And at Mollie, we're very much disruptors to the UK, and we just believe there's a better way of doing it, and look to advise our merchants accordingly.
Yeah, indeed. Coming back to that point of change, which is the world is constantly changing, so you have to have the right people at the table to tell you what to do, why, and when. So thanks for that, gentlemen. The next question that I've got for you is related to customer experience. So obviously we've seen the huge brands, the mega brands like Amazon, ASOS, John Lewis, and others create extremely high expectations from customers. So those expectations have gone through the roof, making it more difficult for small businesses to compete. So how can small businesses create a seamless user experience and really go up against those major players? What's the secret there?
Sounds pretty obvious, but I think the secret there is knowing your customer base really, really well with the product that you're wanting to sell. So obviously big players like Amazon and the likes have become very good at just making it easy for people to get what they want quickly and at a price point that's probably quite attractive. And it's probably got to the point now where they're so big that does it really matter who their customer base is? Because they have such a wide customer base, it's not really about a particular customer. It's about, we want all the customers. Whereas with small businesses, I really believe that they have the advantage of being able to really personalize the experience for their customers and understanding their customer base a lot better. So that's what I think they should focus on. It's all about understanding your customer and making sure that the minute they get on your site to the minute they actually receive the product, their whole experience is perfect. And it's, they've bought a jumper and it's exactly the experience they wanted from this unique jumper or this particular brand, because that's going to build loyalty and keep them coming back to shop on your site. And it's about take care of their experience, build their loyalty. And I think if you do that, there's a massive gap, or I say, there's massive room for them to hang on to those customers, and for those customers not to look at the likes of Amazon and all the big players. So yeah, it's really, really important. And obviously part of that journey is being able to pay or have different payment options, which is obviously something that Mollie do quite well. And it's just about making that whole process easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still needs to be quick. You can go onto Amazon and you can literally check out in about 10 seconds, default delivery address, default payment method, bang, 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 product on its way. You still need to do that, but it's about what you do before that to ensure that their experience is perfect. And then at the end of that, make sure they can check out quickly, get their order confirmation number quickly, and then know that their product is being shipped to them quickly as well.
Yeah. Johnny, do you want to just expand on that payments piece there?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a great advocate for, the customers and the merchants that we work with shouldn't even have to think about Mollie. And, they work so hard to get consumers to land on their website, to get them through the journey. And a lot like Sarkis was saying, that power of storytelling is so important. That's why John Lewis does it, right? That storytelling is very much an SME tactic that they employ on an enterprise level. Buying for moments rather than just selling products, moments in your life. And SMEs have got a real advantage when it comes to, as Sarkis said, knowing their customers, knowing those moments, and then really pushing the right products at the right time. And then ultimately, once the customer's made their decision, for there to be as little friction at that last mile as possible. So yeah, fundamentally, payments just need to work, and don't worry about them. And at Mollie, we're all about putting enterprise technology into small and mid-market business owners' hands.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to cost a small fortune for payments. It shouldn't have to eat into your margin if you're a reseller. And equally, if for whatever reason something does go wrong, somebody's available, and you're not spending 4, 5, 6 days chasing an answer to be told, oh, it'll be another 4, 5, 6 days for a resolution. And that's the gap in the market that try to exploit, for a more cynical phrase. But that's what the merchants keep telling us, and that's why more and more merchants are switching to Mollie for the final piece of the puzzle.
Very good. Excellent stuff. Thanks, chaps. So we covered a little bit of the kind of final question and one of the final kind of takeaways from what ITQ's seen changing, which is speed. And so effectively everybody expects in the modern world of e-commerce that the experiences should be fast, and that presents some real technical challenges. I think there's been an interesting partnership that both ITQ and Mollie have developed with Hoover, like a super fast theme. I'm really keen to hear more about that. And just how do you address the technical and payment challenges of people expecting those ludicrously fast journeys and checkouts and such like? So maybe Sarkis, you can lead off on that.
Yeah, I think it all starts from the actual UX and the look and the feel of a site. Yes, there's a technical aspect of it in terms of what theme you use, and we've started to adopt Hoover quite a lot on all our projects, just because it's not bloated, it's not dated like the Luma theme that comes out of the box in Magento as an example, and it just gives you efficient building blocks to build on top of. And as long as you follow the right development process, you just end up with a much slicker site when it comes to, Google page speeds and the technical aspects of it. But if you start with a crap design or a crap UX and still expect all the things I've just mentioned to still give a good experience, then that's not going to happen. So, it sounds really obvious to say, but sometimes if you present somebody with a very clean and thorough design and user journey, then they don't really think about the speed. You could have the fastest server in the world, but if a network has issues for a couple of hours, your site's going to be slow. And it's about making sure that every single aspect of your site tries to negate that and make it a good experience, so you can forget about bad patches now and again, sort of thing. So as long as you have to start with the design and the UX, that needs to be perfect, and you need to work with the relevant agencies to do that. And if you start from those great building blocks of a good UX, good design, on top of themes like Hoover, and making it efficient, making sure that your server infrastructure is perfect as well. And then on top of that, obviously payments comes into it, because you have to pay for stuff when you want to buy it online. And as long as that is also seamless and is integrated into all the different aspects that I've just talked about, which Mollie does do, then you end up with a complete customer journey that is seamless, and it gives that full experience. But you have to take all those elements into consideration. You can't just take one of them into consideration and think that you're adopting best practice, because it will end up falling down at some point and leading to a bad experience.
Johnnie, what would you say about how Mollie has addressed that, the need for speed, if you will?
Yeah, first of all, we work with, I would say 50%, 60% of the merchants we work with in the UK are using Magento, and Hoover is a complete game changer. It really is best in class. And here at Mollie in the UK, we're huge advocates for it. In terms of sort of where Mollie fits into that piece, I think if to speak really frankly, people don't care about payments unless they're not working, and it's just all about, as I said, doing what we need to do, flick of a button stuff, get all the payment methods on that you need that are right for your customers, even ones that you're not sure about, try and testing and learning as you go, and then us getting out of the way. And that goes for the integration as well. Again, we're often the last piece in the puzzle, and we don't want to be holding up. So again, it's about making that integration piece as super slick, super quick as possible. Working closely with Sarkis and his team, putting together really clear plans, managing expectations and timelines. It's a really, really important part of the journey. So we know that, okay, fine, we're working towards this date. We're ready to go on our side. Payments live. We're on standby should you need us, but equally, we'll get out of the way and let you get back to whatever your passion is. Whatever your business is selling. Typically, that's the reason you started this business. That's your passion, not looking at settlement reports, looking at decline reasons, looking at whatever that might be, all of which are available at Mollie, sales pitch. But equally, you don't want to spend time wasted on those. Get back to doing what you're doing, looking at new ranges, looking at new lines, and and really driving your passion forward.
Very good. Okay, so thanks guys very much for sharing your insights and your thoughts today. I thought now we could wrap up a little bit and maybe just give some of the folks who are watching this fireside chat a little bit of a takeaway about, what would you be doing? What are you advocating to small business owners, maybe in their first, second, third generation of their e-commerce journey? What are you saying to people? What's important? And, what are the takeaways based on all the stuff you've seen over the last couple of decades of e-commerce market?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Matt. I think any business owner, well, what we advocate at ITQ quite strongly is to look at the data, basically. And I think any business owner should constantly be doing that. So, look at a number of visits, revenue targets, return on investment, average order value, different types of payment methods that are used. All that sort of stuff should be looked at on a regular basis. It doesn't matter how big you are, no matter what people say or what the press says, every online business has gaps. And every online business has a part of their business that is not talked about that needs improvement. Because things are just constantly changing. So I think every business owner should try and map out all that data, and if they can't do it themselves, get help from companies like ITQ and Mollie, for example, to help map out all that data, understand where the gaps are, and if companies like ITQ can't help, we have a network of partners that can. So, i.e., not trying to sell our own service. It's not about that. It's about you need to get the right people in the room to look at where your gaps are, to give you the best advice to address those gaps, to help your business grow. If you don't do that and you try and cut corners and think things are too expensive, obviously everything has a budget, but you have to do things properly when you analyze data to make sure that you get the right decisions out of that data to then implement those into your business to help it grow and not go backwards. And a lot of business owners sometimes don't make the right decisions and try and cut corners. But if you're going to start at that journey and that exercise of analyzing data, you might as well have the right people in the room to produce the right output, right? So yeah, that would be my take on it. When your customers shop online, it should be as easy as them going into their wallet and literally handing you a £5 note. It should be as easy as that. There should be no complication. That should be transitioned to online throughout the whole journey, start to finish. And closing those gaps will help ensure that that's the objective to get to that point, basically.
Great stuff. Thanks, Sarkis. Johnny, how about you? What would you advocate?
Yeah, try and keep things simple from our perspective, and just try and help the businesses that we talk to understand where they are at the moment, and then hold us accountable to where they're going to be. The pricing structure in the market at the moment, a lot of other providers by design are very convoluted, complicated, hard to understand. So merchants don't understand what they're paying for every transaction. It can vary on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. At Mollie, we really try and keep that very, very simple, very, very clear. So you know that what you pay on day one will be the same as what you pay on day 100, day 180, day 365. So it's, as I say, understanding where you're at the moment, what those key metrics are that Sarkis mentioned. What is your conversion? What is your dropout at checkout? And at Mollie, you've got someone that's there to talk to. So your customer success manager, and they'll have quarterly business reviews, half-yearly reviews with you, and hold us accountable on those numbers. This is where you're at the moment. This is where Mollie will take you. So keep things simple. Just really, really understand where you're at the moment, and then to Sarkis's point, understand where the gaps are and where you want to take it. And there are so many experts in the UK to talk to. Finding those right people to talk to, those trusted advisors, those subject matter experts. And if you're open to a chat about payments, understanding what you're paying at the moment, Mollie's always happy to help and start on that education piece.
Very good. Thanks so much, Johnny. I think one of the key aspects of what we've spoken about is we started with change and the rate of change and the fact that it's relentless and it will forever be relentless, and new technology will always be coming out. And I think that ITQ and Mollie have clearly demonstrated over the time both businesses have been partnering that we can provide that good advice. You know, you between the two businesses can provide that advice and provide that guidance. So change is always going to be there. You need to get the right advice. You need to understand your customer, and you need to look at your data in order to really wring the maximum value out of your business. Thanks so much, guys, for sharing your thoughts, your expertise, your experience over the last many years in the e-com market today. I know that both businesses offer either a clinic or an audit, an opportunity to kind of unpack your business, to look at the specific elements and how then ITQ and Mollie can help e-commerce businesses to take their next step, their next generational leap forward. So we'll put some information about that in some of the footnotes to the video. So it just remains for me to say thank you so much for your time, for the insights and the feedback on today's session. And yeah, really appreciate the discussion today.
Thanks, Matt. Good to talk to you. Take it easy.
Thanks, Matt.
Cool. Thanks.